To miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
To my ladies,
you sure know how to work that.
Go.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not to unsettle you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show is called First Things First, like the song says. And my very first thing every day is prayer, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. We do have a lot to talk about. Like every Monday, we call this Mindful Monday, which means we'll start out the second hour of the show with some meditation, a little guided meditation, affirmation, and a chance to get ourselves gathered for the week ahead. Hour through 3, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest, a hot topic. We're kind of going a little wild today. It is not, excuse me, Black Marriage Monday or Messy Monday, but we're going to do a little relationship talk, what it's like to how to find a partner. Ha 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 ha. Yes, with Del Harrison and Troy Rawlings. So they're going to put, I guess, a funny spin on it because that is what they do. And as you know, you're welcome in every hour at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. You can call me anytime. I always welcome you. Very grateful to everyone who is part of this radio station, part of this delegation, and you guys just always showing up, showing out. It means the world. If you want to keep the conversation going, always remember you can you can find me on the social media. We are talking. Wow, this is just a crazy day around here. We are talking DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio, and then, of course, you can find us at KBLA 1580. But we've got a studio full of folks this morning, and as close to something we can call good news as we usually get around here. We're being joined by Democratic Party LA County delegate and award-winning Gen X writer, also advocate. I'm going to say that this morning, Jasmine, because you have your advocate hat on. Jasmyne Cannick, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Miles. Good morning, everyone.
And
I have my coffee, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of coffee. Yes, loving the yellow. We're streaming, by the way, at YouTube, youtube.com, KBLA 1580 if you want to see us. And we're also being joined by the mother of Gemmell Moore, who I haven't seen for quite some time. LaTisha Nixon, welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
I'm not sure do I say congratulations to you guys, because it feels like, nothing in the world is going to bring Gemmell back.
No.
But almost a decade of fighting.
You know.
Yeah.
You've been around for that time, that. Yeah. Almost a decade. I say congratulations because I just feel like I'm happy. I mean, I just feel like here's somebody who didn't want to take any, we're talking about Ed Buck, who didn't want to take any responsibility for her son dying in his home, didn't want to give any money, didn't want to go to prison for it. And both of those things have now occurred, right? So he's got the 30-year stretch, but then now on top of that, he's got the $2 million order from a jury now that he has to pay.
Okay, so before we talk to Gemmell's mom, I can't wait to hear your reaction and all of the twists and turns that you've been going through. Give the Cliff's Notes version of the Ed Buck story for those who are just, catching up or they forgot.
Yeah. Okay, so Ed Buck was this white Democratic donor who lived in West Hollywood. We didn't know this at the time, but he had a history of soliciting black gay men, particularly black men who were unhoused, who may or may not have been addicted to drugs. He used his money. He used his apartment. He used his position and status in the community for years to get away with that. And then on July 27th, 2017, Gemmell Moore, who was 26 at the time, died of a meth overdose in his apartment. And the sheriff's department were like, oh, nothing to see here, because Ed Buck told them that he had nothing to do with it and there was nothing to see there. And the sheriff's department just I don't know if that would happen to you if someone died of meth in your house.
Pretty sure not.
But that's what happened there. And so Miss Nixon started reaching out to people, and then a friend of mine reached out to me and connected us. And I started asking questions because it is odd. I think at the time Ed Buck was 61 or 62 years old and Gemmell was 26. And when I started writing about it, other black men started coming forward, and they had receipts. They didn't just come forward. They had receipts. They had pictures, Venmos, Cash Apps, videos, emails. And then we called on Jackie Lacey at the time to prosecute.
Who was the district
attorney, and they did not. And then in January 2019, another black man died of the same circumstances in the same apartment with the same man. They still did not arrest him. And it wasn't until September 2019 when Dane Brown, rest in peace, overdosed, but managed to make it out of the apartment and go and get help, that basically the federal government stepped in and actually used this as one of their first cases around prosecuting people who give drugs to people who die. They, in the end, they had 9 charges on Ed Buck. He finally went to trial in April of 2021. He went to trial in 2021. He was convicted and then sentenced in 2022 because he kept trying to put it off by changing attorneys. And he was given 30 years in prison. So that's where he is right now.
And that was a huge victory at the time.
It was.
And of course, LaTisha Nixon is Gemmell Moore's mama, and you have been hell bent or heaven bent on finding answers and getting justice for your son since day one, if I remember correctly. You stepped up and you said no, we are going to fight for justice. What gave you that determination, that courage, that vision of this guy's a millionaire, very politically connected, right? It's definitely a David and Goliath kind of story. What gave you that courage?
Love. I love my kids, and I was like, nothing can't bring my baby back, but I'm going to get justice. And God aligned me with all the correct people. I met Jasmine, and I met Hussien, and, Nana, and
The attorneys,
just, the attorneys, and Gemmell's friends, and his dad, and in his community. We all just band, and we all fought together.
Yeah. 10 years in, it sounds easy, but I know it wasn't at all easy.
No.
Yeah. Did you ever think, this is too much, I'm just going to give up?
No. I never thought that. Jasmine knows. We hollered victory in the West. We claimed it. We manifested it. We held on to that. When so many people told us, you guys are not going to win.
People told you that?
Oh, yeah.
They took
Yeah.
They took it upon themselves to say
Yeah.
you're not going to win.
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of people in the Democratic Party that were a lot of naysayers, just a lot of people, period. Not to mention the fact that, we had Ed Buck saying that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's, I just had a little moment in my head because when you said that, I remember when I was, you were at the table when the verdict came back, but I was sitting in the gallery, and I don't really cry in person because in public, that's not really my thing. My tears are for privacy, for private, but I couldn't help but start crying when the judge said what the verdict was, especially after the trial, because it was really, really bad, the things that were said from the other side. And that was what I thought of, was kind of like vindication a little bit, from all the naysayers that were kind of like, why are you still doing this? Why, why, nothing's going to ever happen. He's already in prison. What else do you want? And we know that people like Ed Buck hurt the most when you take what matters the most from them. And you would think that might be his freedom. I believe it's his money. I think he cares more about it. As shown by all of the years he has spent switching attorneys, fighting this case, had the opportunity to settle, reneged. If we were playing spades, he'd have got beat down for that. Forced the whole trial thing to happen because there was a settlement in place, but he went back on it. So yeah, it felt like vindication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you heard 30 years, what went through your mind, Ms. Nixon?
He can't hurt anybody else because there were over 40 victims.
There was a lot of people
that
40 that we know about, right?
Yeah. There was a lot of people that came forward. Not everyone testified in the trial. Yeah. Not everybody wanted to be public.
Yeah. That's understandable.
But there was a lot of men that came forward. And one of the things I'm making myself remember to say whenever I talk about this publicly is that the victory for Gemmell is also for Star, for Cody, for Dane, and for Timothy.
You're listing other victims of Ed Buck. Yeah. And
who passed on?
These are black people.
Cody wasn't black, but he might as well have been.
Yeah.
Cody wasn't black, but Cody did testify in the criminal trial, and he was amazing. And he passed away last year. Dane passed away here in South LA. In 2024, very tragically. Star passed away years ago and had went through a lot. And then we all know that Timothy Dean had passed away in 2019.
Right. It's a lot of death. Yeah.
Surrounding that man, there absolutely is.
That man, for sure. Okay, we're going to keep this conversation going. I've got a lot more questions. I'm so grateful that you both came into the studio this morning. And it does feel like a really good moment for all of y'all to just really channel or soak in this energy of, long battle. They won up against all odds and everyone telling you guys you wouldn't win, not once but twice. The story really starts with the story of Gemmell Moore, and so rest in peace to him. We'll continue this conversation when we come forward, absolutely, on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima. when we come forward.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable. All month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. We want you to know that we love you.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, we're back to me, but we're also back to a studio full of folks. Regular contributor Jasmyne Cannick, who is a Democratic Party delegate for the LA County Party, as well as an award-winning Gen Z journalist and an advocate, is here. LaTisha Nixon is here. She's the mama of Gemmell Moore and a fighter, as we've learned, fighter for justice, a fighter for love, as you said. I love how you put that. We're now being joined by one of the attorneys that worked on the case, Attorney Hussien Turk. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm happy to see you guys and just share some kind of encouraging news. One thing I know about Jasmyne Cannick, if you're around her or you're her friend, she will draw you into some kind of advocacy work. You're going to end up, coming up with some beds for somebody who's homeless, or, you're going to get on a project. You just are. How did you come? And I know the other attorney who's not here is Attorney Nana Jump. She's one of your best friends. She's also a regular contributor around here. So I wasn't surprised. Attorney Turk, I haven't seen you at like the vision boarding parties or anything. So how did you get pulled into this case?
Yeah, I was living in West Hollywood at the time that Jasmyne and Ms. Nixon began organizing. And I was walking down the street and I saw one of their demonstrations in front of the LA Sheriff's Department station in West Hollywood. And it looked like something that might be of interest, just based on the fact that there's this group of Black and brown people in West Hollywood, which I hadn't seen in a while. So I walked over and I listened, and I realized that this is definitely something that is of interest to me. And I introduced myself to Jasmine, and here we are almost 9 years later.
Wow. So Spirit just moved you to go over there. You just went over there and said, hey, and ended up on the case.
That is how it happened.
Wow.
He's being super modest here. So let me just also say this. We are giving Hussien his props because this was his first trial. This was his first trial that he presented and argued in court, and he won. And that is
congratulations,
amazing for one to be a federal trial, two it to be your first one. David against Goliath, because Nana and Hussien are David compared to the insurance company lawyers, Buck's personal attorneys, and they won. And it's just, not that we ever had any doubt in you or Nana, but it just feels so good when David wins.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure you had, we were talking about all the naysayers. I'm sure you had friends that were saying to you, this is probably not how you want to start your career.
I was saying that to myself throughout the years. What am I still doing? Is this going to result in anything? And there was a lot of self-doubt. And that's primarily because the precedent in this jurisdiction was that for this kind of a wrongful death suit involving damages arising from someone overdosing after voluntarily consuming drugs, the max verdict I saw was 10 grand. So it did not seem like this would be as impactful or as substantial as it ended up being.
So we have actually two victories, right? We're talking about here, right, Jasmine? One is the sentence, and I'm sure Ms. Nixon, that was probably a surprise in itself. I mean, 30 years is a substantial sentence, and those of us who pay attention to the justice system know you don't see that all the time when the victim is black. And then the second victory is very recent, right? And that is a civil. So there's two aspects. There's the criminal trial, which you won, and then there's the civil, which is trying to make the victim whole in some kind of way.
Yeah, what I like to say to people about that is that the criminal trial was Ed Buck being held accountable to the United States of America. And the civil trial is Ed Buck being held accountable to Miss Nixon, Gemmel's brothers and sisters and grandmother and friends and this community.
And that you just won again.
Oh, yes.
Victory in the West.
Yes. Yes.
So how did that feel? I mean, you win, your team wins, right? 30 years, this guy's in jail. A lot of us thought he would never do any time. I mean, this is a guy who's given millions to powerful people. And then you win that victory now recently. I think it was last week, right? You won the civil.
Wednesday.
Jasmine's like, Wednesday, I will never forget.
I'm framing what was it you sent me? The verdict form from the jury. I am framing it and putting it on the wall of my office. Aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, as you should. So a jury found what?
Go lawyer.
The jury found that the damages in this case were $2 million.
Wow.
There was no question as to liability. By the time that the case made it to the jury, as a matter of law, liability had been established. So really the only question they had to answer was, how much is this life worth?
And let me add on that, because people don't get to see the trials. Unless you sit in court, you don't get to see these trials. So much like the criminal case, there was a lot of... So basically the other side wanted to say... And I hate saying this in front of Gemmel's mother, but, we're on air, so let me break it down. They basically wanted to say he had HIV. He wasn't working. He wasn't educated. He didn't do anything, so his life wasn't worth that much. So you shouldn't award her too much money because basically that black boy, that black man wasn't worth a lot. That was really their argument to the jury. to those.
I mean,
well,
it's
we have
horrifying,
5
but not
men,
surprising.
3 women. Yes, that was their argument, and it's very hurtful. But it just goes to show you like how very little they value our lives. And these 2 attorneys were, I think one was white, right, and one was white cosplaying, and it would. Am I lying though?
No.
Okay. And they represented this insurance company, and that was basically their argument. They brought one witness in, Buck's drug dealer. Yes, he was quite a hoot. If the man had a TV show, I'd watch it.
The drug dealer on the stand is wild.
Yeah, well, that was their only witness that they brought, was his drug dealer. Yes, and he was proud to be his drug dealer.
Wow. Okay. Well, I want to continue down this line of questioning. As I say, when we come forward, we've got news, traffic, and sports. We are talking about Gemmell, but we are talking about a case that took almost a decade to win, and we're bringing you a story of not giving up and resilience. We'll keep that going when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Obama Presidential Center is set to open on Chicago's South Side with grand opening events June 18th through the 21st.
Here on the South Side of Chicago, hope is getting a permanent home. Starting on June 19th, you can visit the Obama Presidential Center.
The new campus will feature a museum, library branch, public art, green spaces, and a basketball court. Some former U.S. Capitol Police officers are criticizing a new plaque honoring their January 6th service installed before dawn in a restricted Senate area. Officers say the timing and location fall short, and Black former officer Harry Dunn vows to keep suing until it's displayed properly. And Bad Bunny's Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show shattered global records, drawing more than 4.1 billion views in 24 hours across broadcasts and social platforms. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Head to Waba Grill weekdays after 3 p.m. for their $5 happy hour and try their new Chili Crisp dumplings. Bold, crunchy, and toss in a fiery crisp paired with a premium Waba beverage drink like their authentic Thai tea. Get both for just $5 only at Waba Grill. It's for you.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers beat the New York Knicks Sunday without LeBron. He's got an elbow injury. Luka Doncic dropped 35 points in the Lakers' 110-97 win at Crypto.com. The Clippers play the Knicks tonight at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers are 31-32. A win tonight puts them at 500 for the first time since November 3rd when they were 3-3. Congratulations to the UCLA women's basketball team. They won their second straight Big Ten Conference Tournament championship Sunday. UCLA dominated Iowa 96-45, 25 straight wins for the Bruins, who are now 31-1. Kiki Rice had 15 points and 8 assists. Rice was voted tournament MVP. The Rams had the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. They signed 25-year-old Trent McDuffie Sunday to a 4-year extension worth $124 million. The Rams got McDuffie in a trade Wednesday with Kansas City. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Faye Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. We got a studio full of folks and with a story to tell, and it's a good one. Let me tell you, Jasmyne Cannick is here. We have LaTisha Nixon, who is the mama of Gemmell Moore, and Hussien Turk, one of the 2 attorneys that worked for like a decade on a case that, as you said, might not have seemed like the smartest case to take on. And I was asking, Ms. Nixon, how it felt victory round 2 in civil court when you heard that the jury, first of all, you had to hear all this terrible stuff about your son. I know that wasn't fun.
No, not at all.
I mean, were you enraged? I feel like I would want to get up and choke the lawyer.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to say some cuss words. I was mad. I wanted to defend my son, but I kept it cool.
And then when they came back with the verdict, well, no, actually his life is worth something and way more than you all said. What was that feeling for you?
I just bust out crying, but it was tears of just, I'm tired of being in fight mode. I want to just mourn. I have not been able to mourn this whole time because I've been in go mode. And I just cried. I was just like, it's over. And I could just decompress, just mourn. I did it, we did it. And got justice for my baby. And for, like Jasmine said, everybody else. Wasn't just a win for Gemmell. It was a win for everybody. It sent a message.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I remember, Jasmine, when you first told me about this case and Miss Nixon first came to the studio at a different radio station when I used to do Front Page. And then you started, one day you brought some guys that had similar stories. And that's when it really hit me how creepy this thing was. This man was like a serial killer. I mean, really, I know it doesn't get categorized as that, but tell me how it, how when you realized this was like something, I mean, really, really a pattern and practice, a whole history, and some kind of weird fetish that this guy had. I mean, it really,
Yeah, no, it definitely was. I mean, I think after the second or third email from a random person, I started realizing, oh, okay, there's something going on here. So I was getting a lot of emails from men here in Los Angeles, and they weren't fake. They weren't looking for anything either. They were trying to be helpful. But they all had a story. I mean, I met with people in some pretty interesting places. I remember I met Star. I did I go by myself or did I make Nana go with me? I can't remember, but I remember I met Star at the IHOP on Sepulveda in Manchester. You know where I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
IHOP on the corner. I've met people in downtown. I've met people all over the city who wanted, because some people wanted to talk in person, and some people were okay talking over the phone. And then me, I also just wanted to put a face to who I was talking to.
Yeah.
I remember I met with one person at, what's the soul food restaurant on Western and near Slauson? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, I met with folks all over, and everyone had the same story basically about Ed Buck. And folks had receipts. It wasn't just, oh, this is something that I'm telling you. It was like, I can prove this. Here are my receipts. Here's this. Here's that. And it really quickly blew up. And then Attorney Turk and Nana can also attest to the fact that it wasn't just them coming forward, because then it became an issue of the criminal case. Because remember, the sheriff's department did not open a homicide investigation at first, and then they did. But then we know how Black and brown people are treated, even if they're witnesses, right? So then they had to be represented by an attorney, too, to make sure that, hey, while I'm telling you about this guy, you don't arrest me for something, right? And so there were lots of interviews that Hussien had to sit in with the sheriff's department. Nana did, too. We got those letters of immunity. There was a bunch of behind-the-scenes background work, even just to get the men that did talk on the record to law enforcement, for them to be able to do that, because there's a lot of mistrust there. A lot.
Surprise.
Yeah.
We're right now in the middle of this national and international global scandal with these Epstein files, right? And one of the big, and I know that Gemmell was not a child, but I mean, what we're talking about is the powerful, the well-connected, the rich, exploiting the less powerful, the more vulnerable, the less resourced for their own whatever reasons. And what we're seeing is how, presumably most of the time, they are not held accountable. I mean, if the Epstein files are any indication, the only person in jail is a woman, gross as she is. It's still astounding, actually. As an attorney, how do you place that? You know, when you look at this case and you decide, okay, I'm going to go and represent some of the least believed, least resourced, least valued people in our society, right? Black, gay men. What, you know, put that in the context of where we are now in terms of accountability and how that plays out in the system.
To put it in context is very hard to do, because this is not the demographic of victims and victimhood that our society wants to rally behind. So it's almost, I would argue, a context that this narrative does not really fit within, because of the race and, as you mentioned, the social status, the health status of the victims in this story. But that doesn't mean that we don't fight and that we don't represent them. And to what Jasmine was sharing, we did not step into this thinking about a civil suit. This was very much a community movement. This was about keeping the community safe from someone who was continuing to prey and who was not being held accountable. So we actually were not representing Ms. Nixon at first. Attorney Jumphy and I were brought in to represent the other witnesses, Jasmine was saying, to come forward and have immunity when they were sharing their stories that happened to also involve criminal activity. And we thought, we don't want to lose the statute of limitations, so the lawsuit was filed. But this is really about keeping the community safe. And the civil suit was more or less an afterthought.
Wow. And I guess I'm thinking about your other children, because having mom in fight mode for 10 years is more than a notion, right? How are they receiving this victory? How is this impacting your family?
They're happy. They know I go hard for my children, and even the ones I birthed, even the ones I didn't birth. I got a bunch of kids. I got a lot of kids. But nonetheless, and I've gained kids through this fight as well. But
you have a lot of kids. How many?
A lot.
It's a secret, okay.
Well, you know, in my son's community, a lot of times some of the parents aren't as accepting. So a lot of times they use, you know, drugs to numb the pain. And, you know, when my son came out, I already knew, you know, and not once did I ever say, well, get away from me. I don't, you know, want to be around you. I was like, okay. Then I went into, I got to protect him so no one tries to hurt my son, because he's the same gender loving person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I remember when this story first broke, that people were trying to say that you didn't love your son because your son was gay or same gender loving. And I thought, man, they want to pile hurt on top of hurt. Because I remember the very first time you spoke on this mic, you cleared, well, it was a different mic, but you cleared that up.
Yeah. People are going to be people. They're going to say whatever they want. I don't care. You know, my actions showed the love that I have for my son. You know, so he know. My other kids know. So
yeah. Well, and also I think that's a stereotype, right, about black women.
Yeah.
That we reject, you know, our gay children. That's not what I see among the mamas that I know. So, Jasmine, have you heard from Ed Buck?
No, but I'm thinking about sending him a postcard. I finally want to send him a postcard, and I probably will do it because I'm petty like that. So I probably will send him a postcard. I think he got moved to Colorado, so yeah. I'll
to a prison in Colorado.
Yeah.
Attorney Turk?
I think you should, especially how at the first day of trial, they tried to silence you.
Oh, yeah.
And actually sought a gag order prohibiting Jasmine specifically from reporting on this story.
Wow, that's crazy.
They did.
Unsuccessfully, though.
Unsuccessfully. Shout out to to my other friend, attorney David Welch, who was ready to get into his First Amendment bag that morning, but the judge denied it right away. But that
Make
was
this
really...
girl shut up is basically where they started. That is hilarious. Is that the first time you've had a case where they tried to gag you?
Yeah, it's hey, but I'll take that badge, because
For sure.
I'll take that any day. And I'm going to send him a postcard.
That's when you know you're speaking truth to power, is when they try to silence
try
you.
to shut you up. For sure.
Yeah.
Attorney Turk, do you think this is going to change your career, your life, your kind of mission, I guess, or purpose? In other words, I guess the real question is, how has this case changed you?
This case has taught me to believe in myself. This does not change my commitment to justice and to fighting for the rights of all people. That's why this case meant so much to me, and that's why I stepped into the work. But this has really taught me to believe in myself.
Yeah.
That I can be victorious, and that with a team, anything is possible.
Even a small team that's not super well funded.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. I know as a journalist, sometimes people, especially when something gets, big, gets a lot of spotlight, that sometimes folks try to erase us from the narrative.
All the time.
Yeah. So anything you want to say about that, Jasmine?
About being erased?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, look.
Because I know if they ever make a movie, you'll be played by Scarlett Johansson.
If they ever make a movie, I will be executive producing it. All right, let's be clear about that, okay? Like, you're not going to tell my story without me.
Okay.
But
I'm going to pray on that for you, Jazz.
But I will say this. Wait, hold on, because I want to make sure I have video proof. Can you record this for me?
Yeah, well, we do. It is streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. But I do want to say this. This case intersected with a lot of different issues. As folks know, you had the political issue, you had the issue of sort of social status, you had the issue around drugs, there was just so many different issues. But the one that was really important to me to identify was the hypocrisy within the Democratic Party, the silence within the Democratic Party. To this day still exists. I will be posting a photo today that I came across last night of a certain person running for governor right now who took money from Ed Buck and also ignored and refused to return that money.
But I remember Karen Bass was the first one to give that money back. She was,
and I cannot leave the studio without saying again, thank you to, and Ms. Nixon can attest to this. We were at Fox. She was getting off the air. I was going on the air. I told her about what happened. I told her I came across her name on the list of people he gave money to.
We're talking about Mayor Bass now.
Mayor Bass. Well, at the time, Congressmember Bass. And the next day, she has someone at my door with a letter and a check for Gemmel's mother to go towards his funeral services. She was the very first person. Mm-hmm. And I talk about that every chance I get because that is the kind of person that she is. All I had to do was tell her what happened, and she saw that he didn't give money to black people often. In terms of political candidates, that list is small. There's a few others who don't want their name mentioned this morning. I'm going to be nice. That he gave money to that didn't give it back. But then Congressmember Karen Bass was the very first person to return Ed Buck's money. The very first. And put it in my hands, and I put it in Miss Nixon's hands.
Yes, that is true.
Was that surprising?
No.
Yeah, because we know who we're talking about.
Yeah, we know exactly who we're talking about. So I just want to say again, thank you now, Mayor Bass, for leading the way in that effort. Because unlike how people distance themselves from Jeffrey Epstein in terms of politicians, we didn't get that benefit here. We asked for them to return their money to a fund to support the legal defense, to support the victims and their families. And very few, on one hand, I can count, did that. I can count. As a matter of fact, they did the stupidest thing to me, which is give money to white organizations, give money to all kinds of other organizations, saying they did it in the name of the victims. And I said, note, bet, when you ask me for money for your next campaign, I'm going to give it to any candidate I choose to. Because that's essentially what they did.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give it to a different candidate and say it's in your name.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because that's what they did to us. And to this day, most of the politicians did not return their money.
That's crazy. We will continue this conversation. We'll wrap it up. Time flies when you're on the radio on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized, the families who watched their inheritance disappear, the wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
Warning, evacuation in progress. Leave the building.
It's a total takeover.
That's what I want.
On Friday, March 27th, KBLA Talk 1580 belongs to the women.
Are you ready?
All day long, from 6 in the morning to midnight, the mic belongs to powerful, accomplished women, and we are not letting go. Nothing but the voices of women who inspire, challenge, and move us forward. It's the women of KBLA Talk 1580, sun up to sundown. I'm Dominique DePrima, and I'll anchor the day with a 3-hour live panel from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the state of black women in LA, followed by women talking to women all day long about the issues that matter most. Fit the beat. Our hosts for the day include Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Angela Reddick Wright, Raquel Graham, Angelique Francis, Tasha Thomas, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, Dion Raymond, and a couple of special guest hosts for the day that we'll be announcing soon. This is Women's History Month, and we're not just celebrating it, we're amplifying it. Join us Friday, March 27th on KBLA Talk 1580, where women take over all day, all night. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and all of our socials for the rundown. You don't want to miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
So my ladies, I'll show you how to work that.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, we're talking about the story of Gemmell Moore. It's really not just Gemmell, although the victory this past week, just passed, was definitely centered on Gemmell Moore. The case of Ed Buck, who's now doing 30 years in federal prison, you said in Arizona. Jasmyne Cannick is here. Gemmell's mama, LaTisha Nixon, is here. and one of the attorneys on the case, Attorney Hussien Turk, is here. And we just have a couple minutes, so I'm going to start with you, Miss LaTisha. What do you want to say to folks? What did we miss here?
Basically, I just want to encourage, anybody that may be in this situation, to don't feel discouraged. Don't be embarrassed. Reach out, let somebody know. And I also want to just encourage the moms and the parents, to just fight for your kid and trust your gut instinct. If you know your kid more than anybody, if you feel like something is off, follow that gut instinct.
Yeah, absolutely. Attorney Turk?
My hope is that this case will become part of a conversation around drug distribution and how we need to be holding each other accountable within our communities. It's not enough for someone to consent to come and party. You have to be willing to, if you are willing to participate in that destruction in someone else's addiction, then you will also be held accountable. This is what Ed Buck was doing. He was seeking out willing participants, but you can't be a willing participant in someone else's destruction. And so I hope that this case is going to scare people into doing the right thing.
Yeah, and you can't be a willing participant with a power differential like that. Jasmine, you're going to have to come back, and we're going to talk more about that. This is why I didn't leave you hardly any time, but go ahead. What do you want
I
us
just
to
want
know?
to say thank you to Ms. Nixon for trusting the process and trusting us all these years, and thank you to Hussien and Nana and you, Dominique, and just, Jerome and all of Gemmell's friends and just everyone who didn't let this go and stayed with us all this time. Our victories are far and few between a lot of times when you fight for justice, but it feels good when you do win. And so thank you to the community as well that talked about the case, that shared it on social media, that made sure other folks knew about it. Because when we are the victims, it is important that our community, Black folks in particular, stand up for other Black folks. And this community did do that. And so thank you very, very much.
Yes. Thank you all, and thank you for your work on this case. Absolutely, and congratulations, Ms. Nixon. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then it's time to get our minds together. It's a Mindful Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Obama Presidential Center is set to open on Chicago's South Side with grand opening events June 18th through the 21st.
Here on the south side of Chicago, hope is getting a permanent home. Starting on June 19th, you can visit the Obama Presidential Center.
The new campus will feature a museum, library branch, public art, green spaces, and a basketball court. Some former U.S. Capitol Police officers are criticizing a new plaque honoring their January 6th service installed before dawn in a restricted Senate area. Officers say the timing and location fall short, and Black former officer Harry Dunn vows to keep suing until it's displayed properly. And Bad Bunny's Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show shattered global records, drawing more than 4.1 billion views in 24 hours across broadcasts and social platforms. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Head to Waba Grill weekdays after 3 p.m. for their $5 happy hour and try their new Chili Crisp dumplings. Bold, crunchy, and tossed in a fiery crisp, paired with a premium Wab beverage drink like their authentic Thai tea. Get both for just $5 only at Waba Grill. It's for you.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers beat the New York Knicks Sunday without LeBron. He's got an elbow injury. Luka Doncic dropped 35 points in the Lakers' 110-97 win at Crypto.com. The Clippers play the Knicks tonight at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers are 31-32. A win tonight puts them at 500 for the first time since November 3rd when they were 3-3. Congratulations to the UCLA women's basketball team. They won their second straight Big Ten Conference Tournament championship Sunday. UCLA dominated Iowa 96-45, 25 straight wins for the Bruins, who are now 31-1. Kiki Rice had 15 points and 8 assists. Rice was voted tournament MVP. The Rams had the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. They signed 25-year-old Trent McDuffie Sunday to a 4-year extension worth $124 million. The Rams got McDuffie in a trade Wednesday with Kansas City. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
They say time flies when you're having fun. The founding members cohort of the Art of Conversation is almost over. Hard to believe.